So to us in the opposition, the method the federal government is adopting in sharing the palliative to us is a joke, is window dressing, is another political tricks, and is embedded with corruption. It's another way to loot this money because there's no accountability. So the federal government does not have a reliable system or data for them to reach the most vulnerable people in the society, except the minister goes to the satellite town in Kwale and gathers 200 and 100 people and starts sharing. So now that she has finished that part of satellite town, so she has settled everybody, the poor people that are living in that part of the town. This is ridiculous. It's something that is not workable. You have over 10.6 million people that is on the poverty line, according to the data the federal government is working with. And then the minister goes to share some stipend of 5,000 to 1,500 people, and the federal government has disbursed their palliative to Nigerian people. This is a recipe for social unrest. The poor people are going to rebel because the way you are going about it is not going to reach the genuine people who are vulnerable, who need this help. And we said before that if the federal government does not have a sustainable system of reaching these people, then why not go to the state governors and to the local government? If you go through a local government system, we should be able to know the amount. Let the government announce that in the 774 local governments where they have these vulnerable people that are giving to a local government or 10 million naira, they're giving B local government 10 million naira, and let the traditional rulers and the town union be involved in reaching out the vulnerable people that are staying at home in those areas. This thing this woman is doing in Kwale and Abaji and Gwagwalada, to me is a joke. Is another way to steal this money. And let me say, because we talk based on experience. You were here when they started trading money with Osibanjo, a professor and a man of God who should know better. He started going to some market, dashing money to few women. So at the end of the day, did that trader money reach the people that need it across the country? It was just a political gimmick. At the end of the day, after election, they dumped that particular one. Send this money to states and to local government, and then to town unions. Because the town union and the traditional rulers and the local government are more closer to the people. But you know why they would not want to do that? Because if you take the money out of their hand, the misappropriation that they set out to do and the seat they want to carry out will not work if this money goes to the local government and to the town union. But that is the only way there can be accountability. That is the only way we can say, okay, let's go to a local government in Benue and ask the people, did we get the money? Who did the town union or the local government chairman who received the money? But this woman will stay in Abuja and use her hand. Okay, she stayed not up to 2-3 hours there, and then she went back to her house. So to me, this is a joke, and I don't think the government needs to continue this recklessness, at this trying moment, that our nation is facing a serious health emergency. We should have compassion. We should stop this abracadabra. We should have pity on these people that have been on the receiving end of government incompetence in the last 6 years. You were here, if not because of this coronavirus that broke out. Nigerians have believed us that the president have no health agenda. Today, there's no anywhere you can see up to 1,000 bed space hospital that can be used in this emergency. Now they are converting national stadiums and museums to serve as isolation center. So at the end of the day, you can see that in the last 6 years, no reasonable investment was made in the health sector. You can see it is clear now. People are donating money to bear government out. So what about the trillions and tens of trillions of budget and hundreds of billions that have been budgeted for the health sector? Where is the impact? We don't even have a dry ventilator. We are begging. You saw the federal government begging even the US billionaire businessman to dash ventilator to them. So at the end of the day, like we always said, if Nigerian people do not demand for more, if Nigerian people do not ask questions, these people will continue to carry on because they feel that this place is a conquered territory. And there's a lot of political hallelujah men. You always have this in developing countries. People that no matter how bad the leader is, they will always sing the praise of that leader. And that's one of the problems we're having. People don't ask questions. People want to politicize everything on ethnicity, religion, or party affiliation lines and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, who keeps getting away with his impunity? The political class that are dipping their hand in public funds. So to us, what the palliative the federal government is dishing out is a joke. It's not going to solve any problem, and is a recipe for unrest. And I want them to stop this thing they are doing and do it in such a way that it will be sustainable and it will reach the millions of vulnerable people that are scattered all over the 774 LUJ that really needs this help, and not what the Minister for Humanitarian.
What we are saying is that enough is enough. You must stop using Nigerians to play your politics. You must stop using Nigerians to make yourself corona billionaires. We are not going to take that henceforth because we are sure that some people want to make themselves corona billionaires. If you are told that is your target, corona will come after you, and that's all we are asking. Minister yesterday from her Twitter handle is still there. She said she have reached out to 190 people in Kwali, and then that they are going to share to 5,000 people. Now what we are saying is that if we have 6 area councils in FCT, and then Kwali has 190 people that you reached out to yesterday, so what was the sharing formula that I gave you? You can see what we're talking about. That is a total scam. Well, if it's not a scam, how can you be saying that you flagged up a program with just 190 people when you are targeting 5,000 people? What is the justification? What is the Minister Sadiya Farouk telling Nigerians? We don't want anybody to use this as a means of making money or enriching themselves. What we are saying is that these are critical times in this country. These are times that we never expected. In fact, I want to believe that it is because of the wickedness of the rich against the poor that God may have been invoked to send down this pandemic, and then Nigerians are suffering from it. People that have never visited airports today are being panicked up and down, and all that. The rich have went abroad, have traveled on education and health tourism, have brought all this that have befallen Nigerians, and we all are facing it. So they should be ready to reach out to the poor at this point. Every rich man who thinks that he is not going to reach out to the poor, God have a way of reaching out to him by sending him whatever it is otherwise. The culture in Nigeria and the system is that nothing works. Nothing is perfect. This cash payment to vulnerable, I don't believe in it. Nigerians don't believe in it. 80% of Nigerians who are vulnerable are not going to be access to this cash payment to the vulnerable. These people does not know who are vulnerable, who are not vulnerable. They are only sitting down in their system. They will bring up a list of maybe one university or college of education. They will just change the title and then bring it and say they are paid to Mr. A, Mr. B. We don't believe that they are actually going to reach out to the vulnerable. That is the truth. They are not going to reach out to the vulnerable, rather enriching themselves, occupying buildings that they don't deserve, giving their children educations that they don't deserve, giving their self-treatment that they don't deserve. We're in a world where the Panadol of the poor is different from the Panadol of the rich. The paracetamol of the poor is different from the paracetamol of the rich. What we are saying is that this must stop. This is high times that they must learn lesson. This is high times that God is coming down to prove and show Nigerians that the wicked people in Nigerians must learn lesson from what is happening today, and they must change from their wicked ways. They must fix our hospitals. They must fix our roads. They must fix our primary health care. They must do something tangible for the Nigerian ordinary man. This is not time to be wicked, because God is going to visit you with this that is going on. I was in Kwali. Actually, the conduct of the organizers of the program in Kwali yesterday, it was an embarrassment that the Minister of Humanitarian Services was there, and then the conduct or the organization of the program was poor. In times with the instruction of the federal government and the NCDC that we should maintain social distance, there was no social distance being observed in that place. From the best of my knowledge, I snapped some shots and I have some videos that there was no social distance observed in the process. I don't know what the target, but there was no social distance maintained, and I believe that whatever that the Minister of Humanitarian Services was doing yesterday was nothing but hypocrisy in the highest order. You cannot just be reaching out to the few and you're telling Nigerians that you have 5,000 people to meet up with, and you're giving just 190 people in Kwali. So we have 6 area councils in the LCT. So what sharing formula did you apply that just gave only Kwali area council just 190 people? We must stop this wickedness from the rich to the poor. I insist. Now the way forward is very simple. It is cluelessness that have brought us to where we are today. Mr. President ought to have closed down the airports long ago when we discovered the first person who was this. The Nigerian government and the aviation ministry have details of everybody who flies in and flies out of this country. All they needed to have done is to invite anybody who have flown across into Nigeria and invite them and ensure compulsorily that they come for testing, for them to be tested and find out if they are negative or not. But up till now, because they want to make money from what is going on in the whole world, they have refused to invite those people and ensure that they have come to be tested, either negative or positive. Now they are all saying that everybody should go on isolation and isolation and isolation, whereas there are no provisions. People are refusing, so many people are refusing to comply with the stay-at-home order because there is no proper and adequate provision for the people. You cannot ask people to go and be in isolation when you did not make provision for them. You have to give them an alternative. We are human beings. We are not the rich. We have not accumulated so much. We have not stolen from government coffers just like the way they have done. So what the government should do is that they should bring out the money, the oil money we have in Nigeria, all the revenues they have generated from the poor. This is the high time now to release the money and give out to the people and make sure that poor people are comfortable so that we can be able to get rid of this pandemic outbreak of coronavirus all together by ourselves. The Minister of FCT and the Minister of FCT, Malam Mohammed Musa Bello, and the Minister of FCT, Minister of State FCT, Tijani Ramatu, should ensure that all stakeholders are being carried along, the civil society organizations, to monitor and see to the delivery of all the palliative materials and items that are going to be given to the vulnerable people. Because we are going to do an independent check on whatever that they are doing, and we will not hesitate to criticize categorically wherever our people have not been carried along or our people have not been given those items. And then the 62 ward councillors in the FCT, we have 62 ward councillors, we have 6 area council chairmen, should be carried along. The traditional rulers, the 17th paramount chiefdoms should be carried along so that they can point out the vulnerable people. If you want to involve the financial agencies and all that to insist and see that these things are done orderly in a way, a manner that the poor will see it, but we want to insist that we will carry out an independent check to ensure that the vulnerable people are really carried along. Minister of State, who is the chairman or the chairperson committee on this vulnerable and palliative sharing distribution method, should ensure that our people are carried along. I want to also point out the fact that not all that registered in the INEC database are still in the FCT today, because so many people have traveled after the presidential broadcast. So many people traveled. There was go slow in and out of the city, that people were going back to their hometowns. So the minister must ensure that the people who are still in the FCT, who are obeying the stay-at-home order, are the ones who are really giving these materials. Not that they will go and use the INEC database, as the minister have earlier said in his address. The minister said they are going to use the INEC database or the BVN. No, what we are saying is that the real people who are still observing and obeying the stay-at-home order, as the presidential brokers have insisted, we want to say that those people should be the people who are going to be beneficiary, because they are still in the FCT.
It is an affirmation that Nigerian government does not place Nigerian youth in anywhere. They do not have any regard for Nigerian young people, because we have a presidential committee on COVID-19. No young person is in that committee. Now, 2 days ago, the office of the SA Youth to Mr. President and the National Youth Council of Nigeria, led by Sokubo Sarabe Sokubo, we have met and we constitute a small committee called Nigerian Youth Task Team on COVID-19. Now, how do we operate? We do not have any recognition from the federal government on how to operate. So when you talk about youth involvement, it is zero. FCT as a state government, we have met with 1 or 2 persons on to know what they have for young people, is zero. So youth involvement, but on our own, we are doing sensitizations for our people. We are telling people, Nigerian young people, because we have a database of Nigerian youth. We have the number of young persons within the age of 25 to 35, and we are telling them on our database on the precautionary measure to go about in making sure that they were not infected. But when you talk about all the palliatives that federal government has, we do not even know where they have started from. We do not know where they are going from, because you could imagine the minister of the Federal Republic saying he was in a local government to make some conditional cash transfer. We do not even have representatives. The young people were not there. It is only the staffs of the government. So when you want to do a transparent effort, you have to go with transparent mind. okay, now if we are supposed to have an independent audit of what the minister has done, how do we go about it? Because we are not involved. If FCT and every other state government want to take a lead, they can actually go and learn from how Lagos have been are going about it. In FCT, everything is dry. People are at home. They got no access. Okay, now for instance, they have to relax the curfew. Like, okay, from 10 to 2, you should go and buy things. But you say you are providing them those things. Why are they buying again? You say you are bringing palliative. You say you are bringing food. You say you are bringing food stuff. Why are you sending them to the market again? Now, those who were sending to the market, how do they want to transport themselves to the market? So it is a policy reversal. What we are saying is that government is making a policy and it's reversing itself. When you are making a policy, Mr. President, word is supposed to be static. Nobody should now come and say because of A, because of B, we are now relaxing. You are not so. If you are relaxing, relax forever. If you are not relaxing, make sure that everybody is indoor, but what they need will come to meet them in their door. That's why, you know, Nigerians are expecting that we'll just be in our door, they will knock the door and they'll bring they'll do the needful. For instance, now, if I'm owing a NEPA bill, there are ways for them to bring the NEPA bill. If I'm owing, what was it called, you know, water bill, there are ways they bring those bills. So, but for you to now say we should gather in Kuala local area council, where the infection can even be easily contacted, you are lining up elderly people. You say you are lining up vulnerable people in one line to come and be collecting 5,000, 20,000. Who told you that in doing that you cannot contact such a virus? And in the world ever, everybody knows that the best way to harness wealth wrongly, the best way you can which language, the best way you can steal money is the way by you giving money to people by hand. So if you want to give people money, you have a BVM, you have every economic expert have been debating on this. People have provided solution on how best they can get rate to people to get money. So you cannot come and line people up and say you want to give them 5,000 at the expense of them contacting this dangerous virus. So we should be guided. We should please be guided. As far as we are concerned, young people are not being carried out. And on our own, we have a task force team. That is why you see us on the street. That's why we are addressing the media. We have been to some media houses to speak our different individual local language. Bagis languages have been spoken. Igbo language has been spoken. Yoruba language has been spoken. Hausa language has been spoken. Because there are people there who does not even know what is happening. People are not, government are not intensifying efforts to make sure that people from the grassroots are well carried along. So if you continue to be on the live television and speak language, speak vocabularies, how does that translate to the people in the grassroots to know that yes, there is a war? Because what we are into now is a war. For us to shut down the country, shut down the economy for 2 weeks or more, that means there is a war. But we should also try and bring, we are energetic, we are young people, very energetic. If you say we should be trekking from here to Karushi, from here to Gwagwalada, we are ready in as much that we are for the young people and we are, you know, trying to make sure that the right thing is being done.
If the coronavirus did not kill us, hunger will kill us. So we have to, one way or the other, move out of our house to look for food to our younger ones, our children, and our aged dads. So we cannot bear the hunger.
I am on the street of Abuja, Nigeria's capital, and on this street in Maitama area of the Federal Capital Territory, it is evident that residents are complying with the enforcement lockdown that started on the 31st of March 2020. Today is the 2nd of April 2020, and yesterday the federal government, through the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, started the conditional cash transfer of 20,000 naira each to an individual. It started in the Federal Capital Territory, in the Kuala Area Council, and reactions have trailed this move by the federal government. Some are actually criticizing the fact that the federal government did not do this thing in a well organized manner, and that this is not sustainable. And some of the points which they brought out was the fact that they didn't bring about youth and community engagement, and so a lot of people are even unaware and can't familiarize themselves to the fact that they are actually entitled to 5,000 naira palliative for each month. And Also, the minister of the FCT has been accused of not carrying out enough sensitization, and no young person as well is on the committee of the Presidential Task Force against COVID-19. And evidently, it appears Nigerians are not satisfied with the stay-at-home order. Some are saying, why will you tell us to stay at home? We will die of hunger. We do not even know where we'll get the next meal. Yesterday, when the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs went out to distribute this money, the preventive measure against COVID-19, which is the social distancing, was not also observed. And so many people have questioned this move by saying you are trying to prevent people from getting this deadly virus, and you are also bringing another way to contract this virus. And so, which brings about the question, what is the next line of action? As the federal government begins to distribute these funds to villages and towns, starting from the Federal Capital Territory, which started on the 1st of April, is this sustainable? Will Nigerians get the most of it? Will they get the best of it? Will people continue to stay at home to prevent them from contracting this deadly virus that has claimed the life of thousands across the globe? Oluwatobi Enitan reporting for Roots TV, Nigeria.